G'day everyone, how you doing on this lovely Friday? If you've been following my channel since the beginning, you will have realised that I got dreads about 4 months ago. Since I got dreads, I've spent a lot of time on the internet reading different articles and seeing different things that you can do with them. One of the major things is dread beads. Now this is not something I ever even contemplated before I got dreadlocks, so if you don't have them, you've probably never heard of them. But they're basically just different beads. There's millions of different designs out there that you put in your hair and they hang there. Now I have got a few already. I actually bought a bracelet when I was in Dublin that I pulled apart and used all the different little bits and pieces. I haven't got them in at the moment, but I usually wear them. They're in a few videos previously if you want to check them out. But I thought, instead of buying these, why not try and make my own? And I actually thought of this idea when I was using a straw. So I thought a straw might be the perfect diameter to make a good mold. We can pour some resin in there, chuck it on the lathe, turn it to the shape we want and drill out the center. So I've got a few straws here. We're going to mix up some resin and give this a go. Now, I don't know if the exothermic reaction that happens when resin cures will actually melt these straws or not. Complete experiment. We're just going to go for it and see what happens. Time to decide on some colors that I want. All right, so they are sitting just there. Now, we're gonna have to leave those overnight so that the resin can set. Now, as I said earlier, as resin hardens, it gets hotter and hotter. So I'm not sure how those straws are gonna hold up under that heat. Fingers crossed, everything will be fine in the morning. Hopefully those colors look epic. So let 24 hours roll by now. It's the next day. All right, so I've taken these out of the molds. Now these actually took a lot longer to cure than I anticipated. It's been about 4 or 5 days, I think now, since I actually poured these. And I'm assuming because it was such a small volume of resin, the heat generated was really not enough to combat the winter weather that we're having. So it stayed quite cool. And that's why it took so long to cure. But we're quite good now. They are firm. Just now off camera, I took one and I cut it up into 3 pieces. And I'm gonna put it on the lathe and try and hollow it out now. So let's go and do this. I don't think this is going to work. These are that thin that when I drill them out, I think the heat from the drilling is actually turning them back rubbery. So as you can see here, it's just all gone back to rubber. Now that they're off the lathe, they're actually starting to harden up again. So maybe it will work. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back to the drawing board on this one and see what I can come up with. Alright, so I've successfully completed one dread bead. I've got like 12 more blanks or something over there, so I'm going to keep smashing them out and see what we can do with them. They are a little small though, as you can see there. Now, the length of them is not my concern, but the hole inside them is. So some of my dreads are a lot thicker and they're not going to fit through that. So what I did off camera was make some bigger blanks. Now, I used a bit of irrigation pipe for these ones as the molds, but I am having the same issues that I had with the straws. These have been sitting for 24 hours now, and as you can see, they are still rubbery. So I'll probably have to leave these for a week or so to fully harden up before I can put them on the lathe, because I just can't trust that when there's pressure on either end that they're not just going to go like that and blow up on the lathe. While I'm waiting for them to fully cure, I'm going to smash out the rest of these original blanks that we made. All right, we've got a couple done. We've got that one there, that one up there, some little ones there, this one down here. Oh, we've got two there. And then these are my originals that I've already had. I've got a couple of metal ones and some other bits and pieces around. So that's it for the ones out of the straw molds. We're just got to wait now until the ones out of the piping molds harden up, and we'll give that a crack. All right, we're done the big ones. So these were a lot easier to handle on the lathe, although I did encounter the exact same problems as the smaller ones, that they became really rubbery once any heat was applied to them. This green I'm actually really happy with, because up close it almost looks like jade. I did that one there in the green as well because I thought it just looked like jade and I thought it was really cool. I haven't turned all of the blanks that I made. It did get a bit tedious towards the end and I had a few breaks which were a bit disheartening, but it's been a cool project. I've learnt a lot and I've got some blanks left over if I ever want to make any more of these. The only difference between the bigger ones and the smaller ones, I think the colors were a lot more vibrant. This is a red and it almost looks black to you guys on the camera. It does look red to me, but it's very, very dark. The same as the gold here, it doesn't really have that punching wow factor that a pearlescent resin normally does. Probably got a lot to do with my lack of sanding on this. But we got it done, we got there in the end, and I achieved what I set out to. Let's chuck them in and see if they fit. All right, so they actually fit in quite well. Now, obviously, with these having a bigger diameter, I was able to make the hole a lot bigger, so I drilled these out at 7mm, so they actually fit over my dreads really quite nicely. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around for this episode. I had absolutely no idea how this was going to work, but we actually come to a pretty cool result by the end of it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel while you're here and ring that bell so that you get notifications for every video we drop, which is every single Friday. Give the video a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. All that stuff really helps to fight YouTube's algorithm and get me up on the platform. If you're a regular here, you know the drill. Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, we've got them all, so head on over there and check it out. J&D Creations, we're everywhere. Until next Friday, guys, see you later.